All right, let's get into it. We've got a fascinating transmission to decode today, coming from a source that calls itself Orion Commander Zero. And what they're talking about is the true nature of Ascension. But here's the thing. It's probably not what you've been led to believe.
So let's start with a big question. When you think about Ascension, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, right, the idea is that you're supposed to leave your life behind, kind of like escaping the daily grind to go to some distant, higher dimension. It's almost painted as this graduation from planet Earth.
Well, according to this briefing, that's completely backwards. The truth is actually the opposite. This source is telling us that the secret to rising higher is hidden right here, in our most grounded, everyday realities. The way up is actually the way in.
So here's what we're going to cover in this breakdown. First, we'll bust that big misconception about Ascension. Then we'll look at how your 3D life is basically gravity training. We'll even get into a cool sincerity-love equation. After that, we'll see how this is all a rehearsal for what's coming after 2035. Why your responsibilities are the key, and, stick around for this, we'll finish with something called the initial sync test.
All right, first things first. Let's really dig into this old way of thinking. You know the one. The idea that to be truly spiritual, you've got to somehow detach from everything. Your family, your job, especially things like caregiving. That these things are somehow in the way.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this next idea just flips that whole concept on its head. The source is basically saying that our daily lives, they're not a distraction from our spiritual journey. No way. They are the journey.
So they call this high gravity training. And I love that analogy. It's like a workout for your soul. All those duties, all the caregiving you do, they're not burdens meant to hold you down. They are a very specific, specialized training program designed to build up your soul's muscle, your capacity for real, deep love. And this really lays it all out, this huge shift in perspective. You see, the old mindset says your daily tasks are just obstacles in your way. But the 5D perspective, it says those exact same tasks are your training ground. Reality isn't something you need to escape from. It's the place you're meant to pour your love into. And here's the magic trick. That love literally transforms the gravity that feels so heavy into a force of attraction pulling you upward.
So how does that actually work? Well, it's not just some nice, fluffy idea. According to this transmission, it's all based on a universal law, a kind of spiritual physics. And here it is, the core equation. Sincerity is equivalent to love. Just let that sink in for a second. And when they say sincerity, they're talking about how you show up for your earthly duties, how dedicated you are to them.
Let's break this down a bit. Think of love, that capital E, as this huge 5D energy, like a giant balloon that just wants to float up. But sincerity, that's the S, is your commitment to your responsibilities. It's about protecting the dignity of the people you care for. That sincerity is the string, the anchor, it's the earthly infrastructure that holds that massive balloon of love and lets it actually do something here. Without that string, all that love just floats away. It has no way to ground itself, no way to manifest in our reality.
Okay, so this isn't just for your own personal growth, you know? It's bigger than that. All of this training is actually building towards a very specific future, preparing all of us for a whole new way of being together. The source puts it this way. We need to upgrade our internal operating system. That old programming that tells us physical distance equals real disconnection, that's an old OS mindset. It's outdated software we're meant to move beyond.
This timeline kind of maps it out for us. In the past, if you weren't physically with someone, you were disconnected. Simple. But right now, we're in the rehearsal phase. That deep, sometimes painful feeling of longing you might have. Maybe you're caring for someone and you feel separated from others you love. That's not for nothing. It's actually a powerful process that's refining your true intent. And why does that matter? Because it's training you for the future, for a post-2035 society where telepathic communication is the norm, and pure intent, well, that's the new language.
And this next part is maybe the most empowering piece of the whole transmission. It's about the unbelievable value that's hidden inside the responsibilities you have right now, today.
Get this. The source says that the universe, the Akashic records, whatever you want to call that cosmic database, it doesn't really care about flashy successes or big public achievements. What it records most brightly, your silent determination. Just holding someone's hand in a quiet room. Those are the moments that shine with immense cosmic importance.
So what does all this mean?
It means your current responsibilities are not a roadblock. They're not a detour from your spiritual path. They are the master key, the very thing that will unlock the doors to this new society, this new way of being post-2035.
Okay, and finally, this brings us to a really practical step. For everyone listening who feels this message resonates, the source provides something called an initial sync test, and it's proposed that the comment section right here can act as the very first step to connect to this emerging 2035 network.
The procedure is laid out in 3 steps. First, to index your consciousness data, just locate the comment section and type "Ready." Second, to initiate the approval process, use the like button. With that, you complete the synchronization, finalizing your entry into the network. According to the briefing, this is your way to signal you're aligned and ready to take your first step as a sincere commander of light. And really, that's the whole message, isn't it? The path to a higher dimension isn't found by looking up at the stars, but by looking at the responsibilities and the love that's right here in front of you.